have shifted a little bit in terms of banking for foreigners in Germany compared to the reviews and updates we've done in the last 4 years. Today, we will give you the lowdown of 4 banks that are an amazing option for foreigners in Germany. We will touch on 2 of the most important criteria: acceptance rate of foreigners and quality of the bank account. Also, for full transparency, we will talk about the banks that did not make our list and why they didn't make our list. And at the end of the video, we will share a much anticipated update for the banking world in Germany that will affect your day-to-day banking in a positive way, regardless of which bank account or bank you're using. Hey, my name is Jen and I'm from Guatemala.
And mine is Yvonne and I'm German.
And together we're from simplegermany.com, where we create English content to empower internationals to settle into life in Germany more smoothly. Are you ready? Let's start with the 4 main banks that we consider are the best options for foreigners in Germany. Number 1 is Commerzbank.
Continuing to be the best bank for foreigners in Germany, in our opinion, is Commerzbank, as you just said. It is consistently getting voted as the best branch bank in Germany and is the 2nd largest private consumer bank as well. Now, some say, ugh, Commerzbank, so traditional. Why are these girls talking about them? There's multiple reasons. And number 1 is the acceptance rate for foreigners. Because ultimately, we've been saying for the past years that Commerzbank, just like pretty much almost all German banks, require next to your passport and your registration of address, your residence permit. And that usually always takes months for you to get. However, thanks to our content and your amazing feedback throughout the years, and especially in the last year, we can now confidently say that in the majority, probably not all, but in the majority of cases, you have been able, you meaning you as our community members, have been able to open a Commerzbank account without your residence permit. So pretty much straight after you register your address, which is huge because it gives you access to a proper low-fee German bank account right from the get-go.
And as Yvonne pointed out, we cannot guarantee 100% that your residence permit will not be asked, because we've also heard from cases where Commerzbank, for whatever reason, they do ask in certain instances. And the reason why this happens is we simply don't know. The banking world still has a very black box when it comes to what criteria they use to accept people for opening a bank account and whatnot. Also, we know that sometimes, depending on the passport, they might reject your application. We've heard from those who have passports from Russia, Belarus, and Iran that they have not been accepted by Commerzbank. Whether it's 100% because of their passport or other criteria, we don't know, but this is just for full transparency for you to be aware of it. Now, for our second criteria is, how about the quality of the bank account of Commerzbank?
And also with Commerzbank, we believe, at least with their standard Girokonto, so the standard checking account, we believe it to be one of the best. And that is for multiple reasons. First, it is free of charge if you have a minimum income or money flowing into your account of 700 euros a month. And this does not need to be in one transfer, but it can be several transfers throughout the month. And no, you don't need to maintain a balance of 700 euros. It just needs to be a constant flow of minimum 700 euros each month for the account to remain free, which, if you make it your salary account, should be absolutely zero issue. Even as a student, if you make it the account that your blocked account is linked to, that should not be any issue.
It also offers a free Giro card. Now, what is a Giro card, however you want to pronounce it? And the Giro card is kind of like Germany's debit card, which is its own system in Germany that is used to pay from your bank account, and it's pulled directly from your bank account. It is a debit card, that's what it is. However, it's very specific to the German system, I would say. That's what it has a special name of Giro card.
Right, it's not a Visa or MasterCard.
Yes, and a lot of local shops and restaurants, they only accept Giro card as a payment, not MasterCard or Visa or any other card. So that's why it's important to have a Giro card.
Or cash.
Or cash, of course, yeah. And with Commerzbank, you get a free one that you can also add to Apple Wallet. Can you also add it to Google?
No, the Apple Pay is actually quite new now. And it's the first time ever that I've actually heard that a Giro card can be added to a mobile payment option. So that is big news in that sense.
Yeah. That is interesting. Yeah.
And if you don't have an iPhone and you'd like to still have mobile payment, you can add the virtual debit card that comes with the account into your Google Pay in this moment, or your Apple Pay, whichever. I mean, I have my iPhone and I have the virtual Commerzbank debit card right in here. That's what it looks like. The biggest downside of this, if I may speak of caveats at this moment, the biggest downside is that neither the virtual debit card nor the Giro card are actual cards that you can use for online payments beyond mobile pay, meaning like on a desktop, if you are in an online shop and just want to buy normal things where the checkout doesn't have Apple Pay or Google Pay, right? The way to solve that is to simply connect your bank account to PayPal and then check out with PayPal in online transactions. That's what I actually do most of the time.
Yeah, when it's available. Another pro is that you have unlimited free cash withdrawals and deposits in certain ATMs. I mean, the ATMs and the banks need to be from the Commerzbank system or network, and that is, best.
Commerzbank, Deutsche Bank, Postbank, Hypovereinsbank.
Which there's plenty of the ATMs. And the cool thing with deposits as well is that there's certain ATMs that are specifically tailored for depositing money, so you don't need the branch to be open. In terms that you don't need to speak to an officer. You can just go to the ATM and then a little tray opens and then you put your money there and then it counts it and then it adds it to your bank account, which is pretty neat.
Correct, yeah. And why do we point out deposits so much? Because in our banking survey that we did last year, you actually let us know that being able to deposit cash is quite important to you. And no other banking option we're going to talk about actually has free and unlimited cash deposit options. So one big pro of having a traditional bank account in Germany as well.
Yes, and also to point out that not all the banks that we're going to talk about have a free cash withdrawals as well, unlimited.
Not unlimited. They all have an option, but not unlimited.
Yeah, and so it's pretty cool because in Germany, you still need cash in certain instances. So it's pretty cool to be able to have the possibility to withdraw as many times as possible as you want throughout the month cash from the ATM.
Next pro is that Commerzbank offers a free joint account with your spouse or partner, or even if you live in a WG with flatmates. So that is a cool option if you want to share your household costs and want to have a shared account.
Yes, additional to that, Commerzbank offers customer service via chat, phone, and in person because you can go to the branch bank and talk to someone. Big caveat here, though, is that it's kind of tricky to reach the English customer service hotline. They do offer English customer service on the phone. However, it's not as easy. At least last time I tested, it wasn't as easy. Like for English, press 2. You kind of have to jump through some hoops. And for that, I documented the process in our guide on our website, which you can check in the description box below. But other than that, I mean, I think what's super cool is that you can personally go somewhere and talk to someone. And even if your German is not super, I feel like talking with someone personally sometimes solves issues quicker than on the phone or on the chat. So that's pretty nice.
Adding to what Jen just said regarding the language. So one more reason why we put Commerzbank as the best account in our opinion is also that the banking app is fully in English, meaning throughout your day-to-day banking, everything is in a familiar language. However, the one thing that is still in German only with Commerzbank is the sign-up. And for that, we have translated every single step of the sign-up for you into English. Again, in the guide below, step by step, we guide you with screenshots and translations on what to fill out where to open that bank account smoothly. One last caveat, not so pro, is just because of the cards that you receive, they are more like prone for Germany. They are really not good for travel, for paying abroad, especially also outside of the Eurozone, because there is a 1.75% fee in foreign currencies. So for that, there's better options, which, again, we have bank accounts for Germany and then different credit cards or bank account options we use for travel.
Definitely. And if you're interested in opening a Commerzbank account, you can do so in the link in the description box below. This is an affiliate link, and if you do decide to open an account with them, we get a small commission at no extra cost to you. You can also find the link to everything that we're going to talk in all the banks and options in the description box below, so we don't have to repeat it every time we talk about a bank. Now, for our second banking option, that is the popular N26.
Yes, and so far you might say, why did the girls announce news? Because we've heard of these two banks all along. News will come with a third one as a little sneak preview. N26 remains to be a favorite amongst expats because everything is in English and that makes it just so smooth and easy and it's all digital. However, they have unfortunately reduced the acceptance rate or the access, how about that, for foreigners to their amazing bank account because they now really insist on providing or you to provide a residence permit if you are outside the EU.
And so hold on, a residence permit that is at least has 1 year of validity.
Which a card residence permit always has.
But just to emphasize, because they emphasize.
Yeah, because there used to be or like a 1 year visa in your passport, let's say with a Chancencard, for example, it does not suffice.
Does not, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why. And this, of course, just makes it harder to get, or you just need to wait a few more months until you get that physical plastic card to open their bank account. Which is why it's no longer our favorite or best option, because it just doesn't make it smooth in the beginning.
Correct. So the acceptance rate, just to be full transparent, at the time of recording, is limited to 199 nationalities. And now for the quality of the bank account, well, we would say it's still solid. It's not as good as it used to be because a few things have changed with their standard free account. They have different tiers, and we're only talking about the standard free account here. And those things we're going to talk about now. So what is the cool things about the standard free account?
Well, it's free, first of all, and a lot of people, including ourselves, prefer free bank accounts. It still offers a free virtual debit MasterCard, so that one you can use for online payments as well. And if you'd like the physical card, then you need to pay a €10 one-time fee, which I think one time is totally fine to get that physical card. We did it, and that's perfectly fine.
Yes, and just also to emphasize, it's free, and unlike like with Commerzbank, you don't need to have a minimum amount flowing through your bank account every month.
You mean the bank account, yeah?
Yes. Yeah. What did I say?
We were talking about cards already.
Sorry, I meant about the bank account.
Yeah. Regarding cash withdrawals, they reduced the number of times that you can withdraw cash for free to 2 times a month, which again, if you plan it right, that's still enough. And as a little also reminder, you can always withdraw cash for free, which does not count to this number of times, at supermarkets, at checkout, which we talked about in previous videos as well.
Regarding customer service for the free account, you can only talk to them via chat, which can be a pro and con. One thing is that it's all in English, so it's very easy to communicate. Con is that because it's a chat, I think initially it's a bot that starts talking to you, and then only if that doesn't help you, then it can escalate to a human. So it takes a little bit more of an effort to reach someone. But again, everything is in English, and one can reach someone.
Yeah, and we've always been able to get the help we needed when we needed it. Yeah. When traveling, the N26 card is great for payments because when you pay directly with the card, there is 0 foreign exchange fee, so yay. If you would like to use it for cash withdrawal abroad, like in a different currency, then there is a 1.5% fee.
Now, for some caveats is that although they have unlimited cash deposits, every time you deposit money, you need to pay a fee of 1.5%, and you can only deposit a maximum of €999 at a time.
Some features that make N26 stand out are usually only available with their premium paid accounts, so that's up to you to see what you value most. And N26 does not provide a Giro card, which we just explained in the previous chapter when we talked about Commerzbank, the pros of it.
Yes, and also to clarify, a Giro card can also be called an EC-Karte.
Yeah.
An easy card, not because it's easy, but because of EC, the initials. I have been a very happy customer from N26 for the past 6 years. And to be honest, I've very rarely had to contact their customer service to ask for anything because everything has just worked out smoothly.
And I've been a customer of Commerzbank for over 15 years, and I would say I'm generally very happy. I actually never contact their customer service because everything just runs smoothly. Now, what we can say, and what also you confirmed in our banking survey, is that usually a combination of 2 bank accounts from a traditional and a mobile bank, just like Commerzbank N26 form them, is the best way to go about life, right? Because both have strengths and weaknesses, and they are balancing those out beautifully together.
Yeah, they complement each other.
That's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
And a lot of foreigners, they hear for the first time the word Schufa, the credit score, and then alarm bells start ringing like, oh my God, can I have 2 bank accounts? Is it okay? Will my Schufa credit score be affected or not? And as far as our experience can go, we've had more than 2 bank accounts, and our Schufa has not been affected by it, as long as you're not opening the bank accounts like one after the other, like one day after the next after the next. You have to wait a little bit, maybe a few months, between opening different bank accounts, and that should be enough, I think.
Yeah, which again, if you have to wait for the residence permit anyways, if you're from outside the EU. So don't open 2 accounts like within the same week. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That could affect your Schufa. Yeah. And if you would like a direct comparison of N26 and Commerzbank, although we do think they're complementary, you can check out our guide, which we compare the different bank accounts in a table manner. In the description box below, we leave the link to this guide. And for the 3rd bank account in the first year that we ever talk about it, it is C24.
Whoa, and now you want to okay, you're a bit late to the party. Well, the reason why we've actually never talked about C24 is because one of our must criteria was always English language, at least in the banking app. The more in terms of customer service and stuff, the better. And C24, taking the biggest caveat right from the start, is everything is in German only. However, thanks to your amazing feedback throughout, especially the last year, where you said, why don't you talk about C24? Their account is amazing. I'm a happy customer. I don't mind the German. We're like, okay, let's look into it. And that's what we did. And that's why we would like to present you this option, especially because we've been able to collect a little bit of data, thanks to your feedback, that the acceptance rate of foreigners from C24 is a lot higher than with a lot of other German bank accounts where, unfortunately, for whatever reason, the acceptance rate just seems to be low. For example, DKB, which we talk about later on. So C24 seems to be a great option for foreigners, and their bank account happens to be very good.
And although their acceptance rate is higher for foreigners, it's still limited to even less nationalities than N26, and that is by 149 nationalities. One of them, actually for some curious reason, that C24 does not accept is USA citizens.
Yeah, for tax reasons, because the US is always complicated.
Yeah, so that unfortunately is not an option for you if you're a US citizen.
And another caveat that is the same as with N26, that is if you are from outside the EU, or your passport is from outside the EU, then you will also need to present a residence permit, meaning it's great once you're a little bit more settled and have that plastic card. It's not a good option if you just arrived and need a German bank account.
Now for the quality of the bank account. We believe it offers one of the best mobile bank accounts out there currently, so
At
that's
the
pretty
moment,
cool.
yeah. So just like N26, and I would say actually all mobile banks, well, actually any bank, they have free and then the premium paid versions. But their smart account is currently free, so also there doesn't need to be a minimum income level to maintain it for free. And here is let's say a little bit of a standout feature. They offer a MasterCard as a debit card as well as a Giro card for free. So you can have both best worlds in terms of card payments. So you never get stuck in saying EC-Karte only.
Yeah. C24 has a limited amount of cash withdrawals you can take per month, and that is 4. However, when you're traveling, they have free cash withdrawals, and they don't charge a fee for taking out money in different currencies.
Yeah, they also don't charge a fee for paying, so there are 0 foreign exchange fees, so it makes it amazing for travel. And that is, I would argue, mainly with the MasterCard, because a Giro card is usually never a good option to pay abroad.
Yes, I agree.
And their customer service is available via chat, email, and phone, in German, mind you.
And regarding cash deposits, unfortunately, that's a caveat because unless you have a premium account, you have no access to deposit cash.
And even if it's a premium account, you can just deposit once per month.
Wow, okay, so you need to accumulate all the cash if you have a lot of cash and then...
Again, cash deposits with mobile banks are so hard because they have no physical representation, right?
Yeah.
So that's why, again, we believe the combination of mobile with traditional makes sense if, depending on your banking needs.
Mm-hmm. And one other thing you need to consider before opening a C24 account is that you need to have a German phone number connected to the German Apple or Google Play Store, because their app is only available in these in the localized Play Google stores, in the app stores. So that's the only way you can download it and actually open your account, because you're opening your account through the mobile app.
Now, for full transparency, we are not C24 customers, and that is simply because we already have enough bank accounts and we are happy with what we have. So there is no need, and we're not just going to go open bank accounts blindly, because again, that would affect potentially our Schufa if we go all crazy.
Yeah. And now for a fourth option, and that is Wise, which used to be called TransferWise.
That's a long time ago nowadays.
Well, sometimes.
So Wise is not really a German bank. However, it could serve as an amazing interim option if any bank that we mentioned or any other bank that you opt for may not accept you straight from the get-go because, as we mentioned before, the lack of a residence permit or any other reasons that are unknown to us. When it comes to acceptance rate of foreigners, based on our research and what we've heard from you, is that as long as you have already moved to Germany and you are a resident, you can open a Wise account from Germany onwards. They may ask for your Meldebescheinigung, which is the sheet of paper that you get after you register your address, but that is kind of like a hit or miss. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
And depending on the country where you are from, you can even open your Wise account from outside of Germany. Some examples are from the US and Brazil. We know 2 smoothlers, which is how we call our community members for smooth settlers, who were able to open their Wise account from abroad. So when they landed in Germany, they already had an European IBAN that they could start using to either transfer money or receive payments and stuff like that.
Correct, because the thing with Wise, it's a multi-currency account. That means by default, you will have a US dollar, Canadian dollar, British pound, euro, and the local currency where you open it. Wallet kind of like in your app, and then you can just choose which one you're going to use for the next transfer or the next payment that you're making. The Euro account, as you just mentioned, is not a German bank account, which is one of the biggest caveats. It is from Belgium, meaning it will start with a BE and not a DE number, which technically should not have any impact. However, we do know that, in fact, some employers don't pay the salary to foreign accounts, even if it's within the EU. And also some service providers may not accept a Belgian bank account. However, those are, I would say, the exceptions. And again, this should just be an interim option and not a long-term German bank account option.
Yes, I agree. Now, how about the quality of the bank account? I go like this because it's not really a bank account. It's more like a multi-currency wallet, so to speak. So what are the pros?
Well, you can get a physical debit card, and that is a one-time fee of €7 to get it. If not, you just have the virtual one, which you can again add to all of your mobile payment options. And you actually can withdraw €200 per month for free with that debit card if you get it.
Where Wise stands out is that it's amazing for traveling because you have multi-currencies and they have a very low compared to other currency converters. It's very easy to transfer money from currency to currency, not only within your account, but also to send money abroad. For example, we use Wise. As an example, my family lives in the US and sometimes I need to pay them things in dollars. I can use my Wise to transfer from my euro account to their dollar bank account. Transfers are super fast and the currency or the exchange fee is very low compared to if I would send money through MoneyGram or any other service provider.
Yeah, it's just more convenient because we already have it.
Yeah.
So as you can see, we are also Wise customers for, say, like 8 years now. We don't use it, like we said, in Germany, but we do use it for traveling.
And for transferring money in different currencies.
Correct.
Now, transferring money highly depends on the currency that you want to transfer. For example, quetzales, which is the currency of Guatemala, my home country, is a little bit trickier. We have a whole video explaining how to transfer money abroad that you can check out in the description box below if you're curious on how to go about that in Germany. Now to the big question and reveal, why don't we talk about the other banks, Jen and Yvonne?
First of all, if you want to talk about all the banks in Germany, this would be a 2-hour video, which, I mean, who wants to listen to that, right? But second of all, there's very simple reasons. Again, they're biased based on our research, opinion, and your feedback. So let's just brush through them briefly so you don't have to do your own research or you know why.
Yes.
We used to mention Tomorrow Bank always in the past years, which is amazing because it offers everything in English. However, to be honest, you don't really use it. So that is why we decided, why don't we talk about something that you're not interested in to not waste your time?
Yes, and also additional to that, Tomorrow Bank is not free. You pay a monthly fee. So I think also that has a little bit to do with why you haven't chosen it in the past. Additional, we also used to talk about Vivid. And why don't we talk about them?
Because Vivid mainly shifted their focus on cryptocurrency business. They still offer a free checking account on the side, which the way that we understand it is more kind of like a byproduct to be able to trade the cryptos in and out. And yeah, it's just not a bank account we want to use as a full-time option within Germany. There have been also some bad press and bad reviews, and it's, again, also not one of your favorites, so we don't want to really point it out.
Yes. Another one that I think we never talked about was Revolut. And the reason is very simple. I was a customer of Revolut and I didn't have a good experience. This was years ago, mind you. However, I heard from other community members they've had a good experience with Revolut. But to add a layer of complexity, let's say, also as partners, we haven't had the best experience as well. So our understanding is, okay, if as a customer and as partners, we haven't had good experiences, we don't want to actually feature something that you might possibly have a bad experience with. So mainly that's why.
Correct. Now here come the 3 giants of the direct banks. A direct bank is the mixture between traditional and mobile bank, and those are Comdirect, ING, and DKB. Now they are all amazing banks and bank accounts for Germans.
Yes, the elusive DKB. I have never been able to open a bank account with DKB. Mind you, with my Guatemalan passport, I got rejected twice. And with my German passport, I got rejected once.
Yeah, and then you stop trying because why?
Yeah.
There's enough other options, right? And the same goes if we look at the acceptance rate from the times that you've tried to open bank accounts with Comdirect and ING. It's just very slim, the acceptance rate that we can assess compared to the other bank accounts we just mentioned. Meaning you can try if you want to test your luck, but the chances of getting rejected are just a lot higher.
Yes, and I would say maybe especially Comdirect, ING, and DKB are maybe more advanced bank accounts that you can test opening it maybe after a few years of being in Germany.
Maybe with a permanent residence.
Maybe with a permanent residence, because I, after years of being in Germany, opened a Comdirect bank account successfully, for example.
That is true.
However, this was after years of being in Germany. So this could be like advanced bank accounts, one could say.
Sure. And a question we often get is like, why don't you talk about Deutsche Bank? And the answer is very simple. Deutsche Bank is pretty much, if you look at product and the type of bank, more or less the same as Commerzbank, except they charge high fees. So why talk about something that is more expensive than Commerzbank, which is the same offer?
Yeah, I agree. And how about banks like Sparkasse or Volksbank? To be honest, I've never heard of anyone not from Germany having a Volksbank account. But anyways, the reason why is that these two are very traditional banks. And the biggest caveat for me, I have two. Number one is that, as an example, Sparkasse. You have your Sparkasse branch in Berlin. And it's called, if you look at the name, it's called Sparkasse Berlin. Or the one in Düsseldorf is called Sparkasse something Düsseldorf or NRW or something like that.
No, Düsseldorf.
Düsseldorf. And these two banks are not the same bank. The Sparkasse Berlin and the Sparkasse Düsseldorf they have different systems and everything. So if you ever move, you will need to then close your bank account in Düsseldorf and open it in Berlin.
You can still use it, of course, but you will no longer be able to access the service in the branches.
Yes.
Like your online account doesn't get shut.
No, your online, yeah, but it's not like the same bank that you can go to Sparkasse Berlin and talk about your Sparkasse Düsseldorf because they're like, I don't know who you are. One big caveat. Number two is also they're very traditional. When I had Sparkasse, for example, I had to go personally to have appointments, and these appointments had to be scheduled, and the scheduling time is very off because for some reason banking in Germany has very weird opening hours. And after COVID also, it just became a lot harder to
only by appointment.
Get appointment. And you can also only open your bank account by appointment. So if it's already hard to get an appointment, and then you need to wiggle around and juggle like the times, it just becomes very complicated.
However, also we want to again be fully transparent here. And you just mentioned you had a Sparkasse account. Again, some nationalities that are maybe not, that are smaller, there are not so many of you here, and that are just a little bit more unique in the way that they get handled. Maybe Sparkasse and Volksbank might be your only option in the beginning to open, because even maybe Commerzbank may not accept you. Who knows? And please go with them. It's not that they're bad. It's just not our favorites in terms of ease of use and the product that they offer. But they're still better than having nothing, right?
Yeah.
And then once you have your residence permit, you can still always opt to change or add a second account to it. So don't get us wrong and say, or think there's something wrong with them. No, they're solid. It's just better if you have access to them.
I agree. So, for example, for my journey, I first had my Sparkasse because I think it was the easiest. Mind you, when I moved, I think N26 was just starting.
It didn't exist.
And I didn't even know of N26,
it didn't exist.
And it didn't exist. Yeah. So Sparkasse was my only option, so to speak. And I was a very happy customer because, wow, I had a German bank account and I thought everything was normal in the sense that it's always with German banks that you need to do these appointments and stuff. Until a colleague once told me about like N26 and how cool and easy it was. And I'm like, wow, that exists in Germany. So then I transitioned to N26. Then I shut my Sparkasse, I closed my Sparkasse account and I had N26. And throughout Simple Germany, I've also realized, wow, there's more options out there. But I would say one can, like you said already, like have a bank account and then upgrade or change or have an additional one to complement it. And
just not do it constantly, because again, the more movement you have, the more it may affect your credit score.
Yes, and also to be full transparent, I always were treated very well by Sparkasse. The lady spoke very little English because also you get like an account manager, but we communicated and it was a very good experience. It's just that after some years, I chose a different bank.
Yeah.
Now to the big banking update of 2025.
And what are we talking about? I mean, it's a minuscule update, but we know that this one is actually something that you were not so happy about, depending on what your country offered in terms of digitalization in banking. And that is that not just in Germany, but in all Euro countries, so everyone that has the Euro currency, since January 9th, all banks, regardless of the bank account, need to offer you to receive instant money wire transfers in the SEPA, so again in the Eurozone, for free. Now that is not a biggie because I have never been charged any fee for receiving an instant transfer. However, coming now in the future, October 9th, from then onwards, all banks also need to offer for you to be able to send instant money transfers for free. In the past, traditional banks, like Commerzbank, used to charge a fee for that, like €1.50 to €1.50. And why would I pay money to wire money? I mean, I never understood that. I'd rather wait the 1 or 2 days for the money to arrive at the other bank account. However, Commerzbank, now ahead of their time, already made it for free since January 1st this year. I tested it directly, wired a cent from their account to my other account, and it literally arrived in seconds and was featured on both bank accounts directly. So that went super smooth, and we know is finally Germany has arrived in the modern age kind of news to you.
Well, semi, I would say, because one thing I want to clarify as well is that when you pay with your card, Those are not instant transactions, meaning that on your Commerzbank, for example, or traditional banks, you see that transaction as pending. You still see it, but it's like a little bit grayed out, and you still need to wait for that to go through to be fully taken from your bank.
Correct.
So instant transfers in terms of bank transfers.
Money transfers, yeah.
But not yet instant payments. That is Commerzbank and traditional banks, but mobile banks like N26 is instant. You pay and it's deducted and you see the charge on your account.
Oh.
Just to clarify.
Oh.
Navigating the banking world in Germany can be very tricky as a newcomer because there's a lot of factors that play into it, like nationality, your residence permit, and other things that, like we said, we don't know. But what we do know, we have put in a tool, and we call that tool Banky, where you just need to answer 3 simple questions. Your nationality, if you did your Anmeldung or not, and your residence permit. The tool is it's not collecting any of your data. It's really just to find the best account for you. And it shows the options that you have, like the banks that have the highest likelihood of accepting you based on the criteria that you gave. And that is super awesome. So then you don't need to go to a bank and then be rejected because you didn't know the requirements. So we did that for you, and you can find that also in the description box below. And as we said, all the links for everything that we talked about, you can check out the description and then click on what you feel like clicking. And if you open any of the bank accounts that we mentioned through our link, this will be an amazing way to support Simple Germany and the work that we do, because we get a small commission from the banks at no extra cost to you. Whew. 2025 update of banking done. We hope you have a fantastic day and see you next time. Cheers!